right, everyone, what's going on? Just let me know if everyone can hear. Well, we'll give everyone a second to get on here. Haven't done a live in forever. Been quite some time. Today's my first day not having baseball in about January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and half of August. 7.5 months. And I think I've had baseball every day since then. Actually, I went on a little bit of a vacation in February. Took like 5 days off. What's up, Derek? Can you hear me okay? Let me know how the audio is. We'll let everyone get in here. So we'll just answer some questions tonight. What's up, Gary? What's going on? What's up, Bam Bam? All right, good. Audio's good. Perfect. What's up, Frankie? So just so you guys know, what's up, Steve? We'll talk some baseball, answer some questions. While we're doing this, I actually just downloaded, I haven't played a video game in like 6 months, maybe longer.
Who are you talking to?
I'm on YouTube Live.
Oh my God.
Oh, Laura came down. I've been on YouTube Live for this is the first time I've been live on YouTube in 6 months, and Laura has to come down and try to rain on my parade.
I thought you were on a phone call.
Nope. We have a visitor.
She's all wet. She was in the yard.
Hello, everybody.
She's all wet.
Hey, who's that? Who's that right there? Right in front of you. Over here. Right there. She has no idea. No? Right there? Lucy, over there. Okay, never mind. Go ahead. So,
No, don't eat that. Can't eat that.
we'll answer questions. Oh, now my hands smell like wet dog. If everyone could give the video a thumbs up, that would be awesome.
Lucy,
And let's see.
get that from her. Matt, get that.
I can't like move from here. Hold on, everyone. Laura has brought the dog down and it got a Nerf thing.
You're fresh.
Okay, I gotta try. I haven't been on YouTube in a while, and like it's making any questions that you guys ask disappear super fast.
All right, let's go upstairs.
And like I can't like, how do I get the chat back up here? I feel like an old man right now. Okay, all right, there we go. I figured it out. What do you suggest? My son is 12 and complains about arm hurting. What can he do to start to pitch the correct way? So I would say this. Laura is just a total disaster right now. Who brings a wet dog downstairs and then complains when it's eating all the Nerf bullets?
I don't want her upstairs, but
Why don't you grab her?
I can't. Get over here.
Okay, we'll get back to answering questions once
Say good night to Lucy.
Laura figures it out. Good night. So if your arm's hurting, then, first thing is, well, there's a lot of things that you can do. First thing, you can go to someone a lot smarter than me to make sure that there's nothing structurally wrong with the arm. So, that's the first thing that I would do, especially with young players. We've had a lot of players that they're even like mechanically they're fine, but maybe they're going through a growth spurt. There could be a lot of things that could be going on with them, and they've got issues. So I would check there first. As far as like making sure that they throw the right way, I don't know where you guys are from, but I would find somebody that is knowledgeable in that area. I'd make sure that, one thing that we see a lot with young players is that they don't have a good throwing program. And so they're either not warming up properly, or they're not throwing enough. Sometimes it's throwing too much, but a lot of times I see it's actually not throwing enough. So they won't throw very hard for most of the week, and then they just try to go from 0 to 100 when they're pitching. I don't know if he's a pitcher, but just giving examples. And then their arm hurts. So, maybe their arm just isn't in shape. So there's so many things it's hard for me to say without knowing them, but I would find somebody that in your area that can help you with that. Justin, hey Matt, will a decent lefty pitcher be preferred by college scouts over a good righty? Really depends. Lefties are definitely valuable because there's not many of them. But at what point does a coach take a righty that's better than a lefty? Or vice versa, I guess, a lefty that's worse than a righty, but they take them because they're lefty. I mean, I think it probably just depends on each team, what their staff looks like, what they value, and then, how big is that difference? If it's really close, maybe they go with the lefty. If it's, there comes a point where it's too big and they don't. I know, it's been a long time. Harwich Mariners won the Cape Cod Baseball League last night. Awesome playoff, great college kids players. That's awesome. I played Harwich many times. My freshman year, we lost in the championship game to YD. YD beat us my freshman year, and then my sophomore year, we did not. We got bounced in the playoffs. So, yep, that's right. Doing a live stream. Haven't done one in a long time. Yeah, Trevor Bauer does have some good stuff on his channel for sure. So while we do this, I think I was saying earlier, I just got Madden. It's my first time playing video games in like forever. So I have Madden, although it's literally frozen right now. I just looked up and trying to move and can't move anywhere. Oh, I got it. This is like teaching me how to do a Madden Ultimate Team. I can figure all this out. I don't need objectives. Yep, got it. We're going to do some objectives real quick. All right, got a bunch of questions coming in. Hardest ball I've seen hit live in person. I mean, Josh Hamilton hit me one of the hardest balls I've ever fielded in my life. So I would say Josh Hamilton. The young... Oh, that young. Got it. Yeah, maybe he should watch what types of pitches he's throwing. It could be it, but a lot of times we have a ton of players, not just us. So I talk to players all the time that they're just throwing fastballs and still their arms are bothering them. Hey Matt, question: who is the best pitcher you've ever seen pitch live? I mean, I've seen Pedro Martinez throw live. He was pretty darn good. I've seen Trevor Hoffman throw live. He was really good. I've seen Greg Maddux throw live, but he was old, so he wasn't as good. Who else have I seen throw live? There's a lot of guys that I've seen live. I've faced Justin Verlander, was really good. So lots and lots of good pitchers. What's one or two keys you would put in the hitter's mind who's getting ready to face an ultra-fast pitcher? Be ready early. I'd rather be early than late. That'd probably be the first thing. And I'd probably tell them to be aggressive. Those are just two quick things that come to mind. Like I think of like my son's young and sometimes he faces fast pitching and he's still, sometimes at that age, like he's 9. So kids sometimes will get a little bit, they worry a lot about pitching velocity. I'm facing a guy that throws really hard. So I just tell them usually be aggressive, hit the ball out front. Usually when I tell him hit the ball out front, like that'll get him ready to hit early because he knows he's got to get the barrel out there. Thanks, Justin. No problem. What percentage is being a coach fun for you? 100%. If I didn't like coaching, I just wouldn't coach. So I got into coaching baseball literally for only one reason, because I enjoy coaching baseball. That's it. So, people ask me all the time because I've coached high school baseball for like the last 10 years as well. Obviously, I own Antonelli baseball, but I coach high school baseball. So many people are like, Matt, why do you spend your time coaching high school baseball? Like, you don't get paid anything. Like, it's like you deal with a lot of stuff. Why do you do it? Like, because I really, really, really like coaching. So there's a competitiveness that as a player, you're obviously, if you've played the game, you know that feeling you get when you're competing, like when you step in the box and you're competing as a player, you know that feeling you get, or like that feeling you get when you get a hit, which is like the greatest feeling ever. When you stop playing, you kind of like miss that feeling. You don't have that feeling with a lot of things that you do anymore. And you've like as a player, you've done that. Like my whole life I was an athlete, so that's all I knew from like, I don't know, since I can remember, 8, 9 years old until I was almost 30. And then all of a sudden it's like it disappears. So when I coach, I get the same feeling, like before night, like when I wake up on game day in high school, I have like butterflies in my stomach the whole day. Same feeling I got as a player, I have it as a coach. Sometimes you get it worse, actually. I would actually say, no, it's not sometimes. It's all the time. You actually get more of a feeling. And the fun thing about coaching is, like when you're playing, you get up once and then you hit and then you go sit down and then you have to wait to get up again. When you're a coach, it feels like you're like in the box with everybody. Like it feels like you hit every at bat. When you're on defense, like it feels like you're making pitches, even though you're not. Like that you're into like every pitch. I've never been into every single pitch of a game. Even as a player, I know players are like, yeah, I'm into every pitch. Like most players aren't. There's plenty of times I'm sitting on the bench after I'm done hitting and someone's talking about something that happened to them that, I don't know, whatever. Like sometimes you're talking about the Patriots, as I'm playing a baseball game. As a coach, like I'm not talking about anything, I'm not thinking about anything except for like that pitch. And I do it every single pitch. So this is a long answer, but usually when I'm done with a high school game, not just a high school game, really any game, but especially high school, like when the game ends, I get really tired. I'll notice I'll get home and be exhausted. And it's just because like my brain was on overdrive for like, not just the 2 hours of the game, but like the hour or two leading up to the game. I'm just like mentally exhausted. Those are like the nights that I fall asleep in 10 seconds because I'm so tired. So that's why I coach. Well, that's one of the reasons why. How do you work with a child that has been hit with ball and becomes afraid to get hit or get hurt? Yeah, it's a tough question. I would use a softer ball so when they get hit, it doesn't hurt as much. Depending on how bad it was, like you might have to ease them back into it, but like we'll use tennis balls, we'll use like these little smash factor balls or just a foam ball and just get them used to getting their confidence back. And then also we'll we'll talk to them. I don't know if you're talking about offense or defense, but if they've been hit like batting, we'll teach them how to get hit by a pitch properly, like we call it rolling. So like we'll teach them how to roll their front shoulder in, make sure they tuck their chin, turn their face away. Some players like, they open up like this when the ball's coming at them and they get hit and then they don't know how to get out of the way. They don't know how to get it properly. And so, then they get really scared. I missed a ton of questions, by the way. Wow, you guys are asking questions really, really fast. I might not be able to get to all of these, but let's see. 8 years old, going in the first year of kid pitch. Yeah, at that age, it's like, I don't know how many tips you can give. It's like when my son was 8, I mean, he's only 9 now, so I still do it. It's like, I just want to have fun, enjoy the game. Like, I'll give him some tips and stuff, but not a ton. I try to keep it pretty simple. I want him to swing the bat, be aggressive, not be afraid to make mistakes. Like, those are the biggest things. And then, have fun. That's really it. I sit up. I mean, I still coach them. I coached them all last year. Like I don't say a whole lot to them. I just let them play and have fun, and I make sure to not overcoach them. But it's pretty good. Like he doesn't even realize I'm there. You know, some kids like are always looking at their parents like 24/7. Like the one thing that's good is he doesn't really ever look at me, even though I'm on the field. So why do I see so many players hitting 200 in the majors and pitching that good? I'd say yes, the pitching is that good. The pitching is incredible. I played in the major leagues about 15 years ago at this point. It's crazy to think that, but you know, the pitching that I saw in the major leagues was so much like there were good pitchers obviously, but the amount of good pitchers you face now, like the amount of like the velocity you face now on a night in night out basis, like the off speed pitches, it's just like it's crazy good. I know a lot of people will say that it's because the game has gone away from like hitting for average and more towards power, which in some ways, yes, power is valued more now. But I think I think the pitching is so good that it makes hitting really, really hard. And like anyone that doesn't think that's the case, it's like go back and watch. Don't watch like the best pitchers, obviously, because there were really good pitchers back 15 years ago. But like just go put on a game and watch how many fastballs are like 89, 90. And then put on the game today and it's like guys throw 96 and people act like it's normal. They're like, oh, like my son does it all the time. He'll watch a game and like that guy will throw a ball like 95 and he'll be like, oh, that's all he throws? Like, cause that's all he's seen. He's only 9. So he's used to everyone throwing 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. Like we were watching, I think Aroldis Chapman throwing like 104, 105, and when he threw it like 101, Matt'd be like, oh, like what happened there? Like there was something wrong. I was like, it's 101. He's like, yeah, but he should be throwing 104. It's just crazy. I never got a chance to play in Dominican Republic. No, I did not. I got asked to play in a winter league. Was it Venezuela, I think? I forget what year it was, but I got wrist surgery. Never got to go play. All right, could everyone give the video a thumbs up? That would be awesome, or a like, whatever you want to call it. That would be great if you could, since we haven't been on here in a while. I'm going to look up here at Madden for 1 second, see what it's going to have me do. It's got me playing, first day of training camp has begun. All right, so I'm doing some type of training camp here. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Wow, there's a lot of questions. Would I rather run a 5K or get drilled once by Aroldis Chapman? I'll run the 5K. Pitch Smart or other high school associations. So we use Pitch Smart. I don't know what everyone else uses, but like I think Pitch Smart has worked well, and that's what we use. So I'm a fan of that. How do I stand out to my coaches? Well, let me see if I can fix my camera again. I'm starting to kind of like fall a little bit. How do you stand out to your coaches? You know, it's interesting. Like every coach is different, so I don't want to speak for other coaches. But I know, like for me, honestly, if we're talking like high school, you almost stand out by like a lot of times it's by doing like all the simple routine stuff. Like doing the routine stuff routinely will have you stand out. You know, sometimes people think like, oh, I got to hit the ball 400 feet to stand out to my coach. You know, what do I think wins high school games? I keep talking about high school because that's what I coach a lot of, but you know, we have this talk all the time. It's not just high school, it's college, it's anything. It's like, what wins those games are like throwing strikes with your fastball, being able to throw a secondary pitch for a strike, like usually a curveball, but could be a changeup. Being able to put the ball in play as an offensive player, like being able to barrel a ball, uh, being able to put a ball in play with 2 strikes is a huge part of it. And then being able to make the routine play routinely, like those things might seem boring, but those stand out to me. Like if I have players that can do that, I'm like, yeah, we can win. How do you not win? Or how do you stand out in the wrong way? Don't throw strikes, fall behind hitters, walk guys, um, not be able to hold runners, not be able to put the barrel on the ball, swing at bad pitches, you know, like those things, like make errors on routine plays, like that stuff will drive coaches crazy. Okay, your 9-year-old throws right, hits left. My intention was eventually make him a switch hitter, but he settled into lefty, and now I'm not sure if I should push him probably right at all or not. Yeah, I think switch hitting's hard. So, like, my son's a left. I kind of wish he was a right, but so he could play shortstop, but it's okay. So I mean, I always wanted him to be a left-handed hitter. He just happened to be a lefty. But when he was young, if you look at any of the pictures, my wife probably thought I was crazy. She did think I was crazy. But like when he was a little baby, we have like a lot of pictures of him holding like this little foam bat. And anytime he would grab the bat, I would switch his hands every single time, and I'd make sure he held the bat lefty and put the bat in his left shoulder because I wanted him to hit lefty. And so that's what we practiced when he was young. Ended up being a lefty anyways. Not to say that I've met lefties that hit righty, but I just made sure he was always holding the bat lefty. So who's going to be the Patriots starting quarterback? I think it's going to be Brissett. I think the Patriots, their offensive line, listen, I think if you put Drake May back there, he's going to get killed, unfortunately. So I think they probably play Brissett early, and I think he gets the absolute crap kicked out of him. And you just wait and hope that you can fix the offensive line next year. I mean, it's a major problem. I'll say that. Major problem. So that's the biggest issue right now with the Patriots, in my opinion, is like the ability to protect the quarterback. And not only to just give him time to throw, but to make sure he doesn't die back there, honestly. What advice do I have for a kid who wants to only play baseball year round? So if a kid loves just baseball, then I'm like, yeah, you could play just baseball. Like, I think I love all sports. So like I played hockey, I played football, I played baseball, I played soccer, I played basketball, I played every sport. That's because I love them all. Some kids don't love a bunch of sports and they're like, I want to play baseball all the time. And I'm like, fine. Like, like my daughter likes riding horses. So I'm like, and she wants to ride them all the time. So I'm like, okay, well, that's what you're going to do. So she doesn't like, certain sports. So I'm not going to I personally, I'm not going to force her to do them because she don't like them. So that would be my thought on it. Yeah, so I do think another question about switch hitting, like it is so hard to hit just one way, never mind both ways. So, where is Maddie? We just put him to bed a little bit ago. It's like 10:30 now, so he usually goes to bed around like 9:30 or so. So he's sleeping. Well, he might not be sleeping, but he's in his bed. Hey, happy birthday, John the Beagle Dad. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to go fast and get through all these. There's so many questions. Your son's 6'4". Is he too tall to play baseball? No, I wish I was 6'4". I would have given a lot to be 6'4". Why don't catchers hit 600? They see so many pitch of release spin movement. Why doesn't that translate to that bat? So you would think they would know what to look for. Thank you. Well, no one's hitting 600. No one's hitting 400. So guys can barely hit 300. Here's the tough part about being a catcher is that catching takes a toll on you. Like you get fatigued catching. It's other than pitching, you're exerting the most energy. And, your body gets tired after a while, your legs get tired, you get the absolute crap kicked out of you. You've got to block balls, you're taking balls off of the forearms and the wrist and the shoulder, and, for getting foul balls off of you. And, I don't think most people realize how much catchers just get the ever living crap kicked out of them. And it's also an extremely obviously important position, and you're catching bullpens, and there's just a lot that goes into being a good catcher. And so it's hard to hit, because you're always beat up, you're always tired, and really when you're a catcher, like defense comes first. Like coaches, when they're like, major leagues, college, anything, defense is always going to come before hitting. So like reading pitches and all that, like, yeah, I do think, obviously they get a lot of that practice, but all the other things just make it too difficult. I don't know what just happened, but I just tried to scroll back and that just sent me all the way back to the top. So now I'm trying to get back to where I was seeing, or back to the right question. Is this really live? Yes, this is really live. Yep. Yep, Incredibles, that works too. Let's see. Hey, thanks, Eric. I appreciate you being here. Thoughts about the Northwood League versus the NECBL. So I haven't played in either league. I've heard good things about both leagues, and sometimes I hear like Northwoods League plays like 8,000 games, which is a lot of games. I'm not an expert on that, so I don't know. I haven't played in either league. The only summer league I ever played in was Cape Cod League. So that's the only league I have like real experience in. Hey, thanks, Katie. Exactly. Mason Miller, yeah, when he throws under 100, it's like, what the hell just happened? Like when I played, there were barely anyone in the league that threw 100. Like Jonathan Broxton threw 100 to me when I faced him. Aroldis Chapman was just coming into the league while I was like kind of just about exiting the league. So the day he pitched against us, I was actually on the bench, and he came in to close, and I have to face him. But like, there weren't very many of those guys. Any thoughts on American Legion teams as my son gets older? It depends what part of the country you're in, Eric. Like in our part of the country where I am, there is some American Legion, but there's a ton of travel ball like in our area. And, obviously I run a travel ball organization. I just don't know enough about Legion because it's not like huge in this area. And most players do play travel ball. I know that like online, there'll be like people arguing that like travel ball is a waste of money, or, then you'll have people be like, Legion's terrible. Like, I don't go to either of those extremes. So I think that there's probably plenty of good Legion ball teams and play around the country. And I think there's plenty of good travel ball around the country. And I think there's probably plenty of crappy travel ball. And I think there's probably some crappy Legion. So unfortunately, it's probably just where you're from. And that's probably the biggest thing. Yeah, I agree with you. Like when Billy Wagner would throw, exactly, if he hit 100 or throw like high 90s, it was like, wow, this guy's from a different planet. And now everyone does it. Let's see. Is the insane speeds of the pitchers the reason position players have been coming in? That I don't know why. I haven't followed. Like when position players start pitching, like I'm not. That's when I'm like, okay, time to turn the game off. Will Video Game Matt make a return? I don't know if Video Game Matt is going to make a return. He could. I'll have more free time now because I am I mean, I work year round, like 7 days. I work 7 days a week. So I've kind of done that for the last like 10 years. I almost never take a day off. Um, but I, uh, I will have more free time now to play some more video games. Why does it keep doing that? Like I'm scrolling down and reading the questions, and then all of a sudden it'll just like skip 100 questions and go way to the bottom. Let's see. MLB only started clocking pitching in the last 30 years. You think the only right now the pitchers threw in the high 80s, 90s? I think Nolan Ryan threw hard as hell. So, but I don't know. Like before they had like this technology, I'm not sure. But I think Nolan Ryan threw hard as hell. Favorite ice cream's cookie dough. But as I've gotten older, I've developed this lactose intolerance, like which stinks. So like if I eat ice cream, my stomach kills. So I can't really eat it anymore. And it was literally my favorite food. Like I ate ice cream every day of my life, pretty much. Which of your live viewers should have gone pro and why is it you? Because you're the best, of course. Okay, it's an interesting question. You've always wondered the specific roles that managers play besides setting lineups. So managers are, yeah, they are setting lineups. They're not really even pitch calling, really. Like a lot of that is just catcher pitcher. So like a lot of times when you look over and you see like a manager like doing this, a lot of times that's like controlling the running game. Do we want to pick over? They don't really pitch out anymore. You know, do we want to slide step, like that stuff? A lot of the pitch calling stuff just comes from the catcher. Now they'll talk about things before the game and come up with game plans. You know, how are we gonna pitch this guy or that guy? A big role of the manager is figuring out how they're going to use their bullpen. So, that's a large role of it. A lot of in-game stuff like, are we going to go the bullpen? Who are we going to go the bullpen? Like, who are we going to go to in the bullpen? Are we going to pinch run? Are we going to pinch hit? Are we going to have a defensive replacement? Like all those things are like in-game strategy stuff. Pinch hitter. I don't know if I mentioned that already. All those things are up to the manager. And then a lot of like responsibilities of the manager are like making sure that you're like keeping 25 or 26 players now, like making sure that they understand their roles, that they're, I don't want to say that they're happy. Like, yeah, you're trying to keep players obviously happy. You're trying to keep team morale up. You're trying to make sure there's no issues in the clubhouse. Like, you have to deal with the media a lot. So like there's a lot of roles that the manager has to play. Do I think Nick Hertz will make it big in MLB? Yeah, I mean, I think he's a great player. I'll say this, like back when I played, like the minor league or like college baseball to the big leagues was like super far away. And that has the distance between like what a college player is in the ACC and a big leaguer, like it's much closer now. Like, I mean, we saw Paul Skeens. I know this is very hard to do and he's a freak show, but like we've seen how quickly he's been able to go from college to big leagues and dominate. And I think players are getting better and better in college. Like there's a lot of reasons for it. There's NIL money now available. There's less draft picks, so more kids are playing in college. More guys are going to college, again, because of that NIL money. More players are going to college instead of going pro. So now, like, you're getting better players in college. There's less minor league teams. So, like, college is closer to the big leagues now than it was when I played. So, guys are able to make the jump. American Legion team 16 through 19 U thoughts. I wish I could tell you. I have no idea. I haven't seen a Legion game in a long time, unfortunately. What was your favorite player and how did you get into baseball? I got into baseball. I got into every sport, so I just happen to like baseball. But I played every sport, and my favorite player, probably like Manny Ramirez, Pedro Martinez. Those are two of my favorite. Yeah, I'll say this about like your 9-year-old who's very competitive and gets down when he makes an error or strikes out. A lot of players, I see that a ton with like especially 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, and sometimes it's like it's really hard. Like I try for those guys, I try to tell them and explain to them that, it's really like you got to explain to them like failures are like baseball's a game of failure. You're gonna fail a lot. You're gonna fail more than you succeed. I try to talk about like process, over the result and how it's not always about just getting a hit or, getting outs. You're just trying to get a good pitch to hit as a hitter, put a good swing on the ball. Like once the ball leaves your bat, like you could do everything right and still not get a hit. And that doesn't mean you failed. Like that means you actually succeeded. So like giving those talks, with that all being said, some young kids are just very emotional and one day they'll snap out of it. Like I have certain players where I give that talk every day to them and they still cry every time they get out. It's just like, so, and then I have other players where I never have to give the talk to at all. It's just, every player is different. And, I think just time will help a lot. All right. We have a bunch of super chats here. It looks like, let me see if I can find these super chats real quick. Tell me if I missed anybody, but the message got retracted. What does that mean? So I had a super chat here and it says message retracted. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what that means. Hey, Josh DMV, thank you so much for the super chat. Has Video Game Matt retired? We need a series finale. So he hasn't retired. He's just been, I don't know, in witness protection. I'm not sure where he's been. I think he probably felt like he accomplished everything he needed to accomplish at the big league level, even though he was only like 22 years old. But I'll make a comeback for him one of these days. I will. Could everyone give the video a like again? That would be awesome if you could. All right, so I said earlier, like I'm looking up every now and then just because I just downloaded Madden. So I'm playing a little bit Madden. I'll tell you my team right now. So I'm playing Madden Ultimate Team. And my team stinks, but I just turned it on 5 seconds ago. You guys want to see my, let me read my lineup to you right now. This is a putrid lineup. Okay. We got Spencer Rattler at quarterback. We've got Robinson at running back. I don't even know any of these guys. Who's Ryan Flournoy? Don't know. I mean, this team is horrific. Nothing against these guys, but it's just horrific. My highest, they're all 68 and 60. How is Matthew Judon a 69 overall? I mean, I know he's hurt last year, but come on. Like, he's a good player. Like, please don't tell me that Matthew Judon is as good as, I don't know, any of these other guys. It's kind of a joke. That's disrespect. Thanks, 450 dingers. Chris D'Angelo, Ramirez. Yes, Chris. Ramirez. Ramirez as in, oh, Nick Villano's here. Hi, Nick. How can Chris D'Angelo get as handsome as me? I don't know. Maybe in your next life, Chris. All right, we got another super chat. No, we don't. It popped up that oh, wait. Hold on. Let me see if there's a way to find just super chats. Is there a way to find just super chats? Because here we go, super chats. Oh, Josh DMV gave another super chat. Thanks, Josh. Who's more likely to make a return, Video Game Matt or Cowboy Matt? So If you guys have not seen, you guys probably don't know who Cowboy Matt is, some of you. But that back during COVID in 2020, when we couldn't leave the house or do anything, I played a ton of video games and I played Red Dead Redemption 2 and I went live on Twitch all the time. And it was fun. And Cowboy Matt had a blast. I'm new to coaching JV baseball. I've never played the game. Any tips? Well, that is a good question. So, well, I'm trying to think. You've never played the game. I would just start. You know what you could do? You could literally spend the next week watching every one of our videos. That would be a good way to start to get a feel. So I've probably talked about everything under the sun. So I would do that. I would watch all of our videos. And, what do I have here? I've got, they gave me a free Christian McCaffrey. I spent an extra $20. What? I spent an extra $20 to get this game early, and it told me I was going to get this awesome Christian McCaffrey, and it gave me an 81 overall. I guess maybe on day one, maybe an 81 is good. Well, my team's all 68 and 69, so I guess, yeah, it's pretty good. All right, so Christian is now my starting tailback, so it looks like every play will be a running play or some type of passing play to McCaffrey. What are the best type of what's up, Lincoln? Best type of conversation to have with a 15-year-old after game talk? What's the max time you talk? Okay. I imagine I'll do this with my son when he's 15, even though he's only 9. So I always talk to him after the game. But I try to, so I don't always start the conversation. Like, we'll get in the car, and whether he hit awesome or not awesome, whatever, I'll usually say, good game. Ask him if he had fun. He usually always says yes. Sometimes if he had a bad game, maybe he'll say like, I stunk tonight or whatever. And then I'll just I'll start just kind of asking some questions maybe. And he usually wants to talk about the games. If he was just I don't want to talk about it, then I would just let it go. But usually he'll be like, I stunk tonight. I struck out in that first at bat. And then I'll just say, I might just ask a question like, well, what were you thinking? Or why do you think you struck out? And he'll say something. I'll be like, were you too aggressive? Did you get a good pitch to hit? I'll just start asking those things. So, but he really likes talking about that stuff. And then I'll ask questions and then I'll just give a little tip, but I never do it in I've never once been like, how did you strike out against that guy? That pitcher stunk, or how do you swing at that pitch? I'll just tell him what I think he did, but I'll do it in a nice way. So if I think he's super passive, I'll just be like, in that first at bat when you strike out, I think that next time, if you're a little bit more aggressive, I think you have a better chance to put the ball in play. Something simple like that. And usually he'll say yeah, okay. Or maybe he'll say oh, well, those pitches weren't strikes. They were way off the plate and the umpire called them strikes. And maybe that's the case. And I'm like, well, you know what happened. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a perfect answer for it, but I try to talk to him about the game, but I kind of let him kind of start the convo. And I never, at least at this age, I don't know what it'll be like at 15, but I'm never negative with him. I think the number one goal is you want to make sure that your kids don't quit the game or don't hate the game because of you. Not you personally. I'm just saying because of dad. I know there's some kids that probably dread, not probably, I know some kids dread after the game having to listen to dad tell him all the bad things he did during the game. All right, let's see. Okay, your son's 8 years old, starting pitching, wants to work on accuracy. He's watching with me now. What's up, Solo? Yeah, so I think, one thing about pitching, it's really interesting. is that I think good throwers are good pitchers at a young age. I just got a Julius. Ooh, everyone, hold on a second. I got to pick a player right now. So I get to choose between Julius Peppers, an 82 left end, Dwight Freeney, an 82 right end, or Devin Hester, a wide receiver deep threat. So I'm going to go defense. I'm not going to go Hester just yet. I probably should because I have no talent on offense. I should probably just go Hester just to get the ball into somebody's hands. Because like, what is Julius and Dwight really going to do for me? I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you guys go with like defensive end, or should I just go Devin Hester, someone that can fly and I can just get the ball to? What happened to my cheese shop? Yeah, where'd all those commercials go? Remember, like, where are the Antonellis? I used to always, whenever they say, I say, no, I'm like, I would say, oh no, we're the Antonellis, not you guys, but I can't decide who I want here. All right, cool. We'll go Devin Hester. Why not? I forget the question. Oh, so good throwers become good pitchers, in my opinion. Like, my son's a pretty good pitcher. He's got really good command because we played a lot of catch when he was young. Like, so he's learned how to throw the ball. Literally, being a good pitcher at that age, I just think is like the good throwers, the good athletes are the good pitchers. It's not so much like the good pitchers aren't someone that like just stood in the mound and like worked on pitching drills a lot, you know? So, you know, do I get down in a squat and like let him pitch to me a lot since he was like 3 years old? Yes, I have, but we've also just played a lot of catch. So that would be my biggest thing is like be athletic, make a lot of throws. Like you don't have to just get on a mound. Now, of course you can, but like that doesn't have to be the sole focus. I would work on throwing, and I would work on when you are throwing, like you can work on some, you know, throwing the targets. We used to always play a game that's like super simple game. I played it when I was a kid. It was like 1 point if you hit him in the chest, 2 points if you hit him in the face, and we'd go back and forth. We played that game all the time from the time he was probably like 5 years old and still play it. Yeah, so Hester's speed is not because it's like so early in the game. His speed is only a 84. So it's not like blazing speed. So okay, Lincoln, thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for the response. What is your favorite Matt Antonelli rookie card? My favorite is probably. That's a good question. There's one of me. I have like my blonde like flow coming out, and I've just got a bat, and I'm just kind of. It's like kind of. I'm on a knee, I think, and I got a bat on my shoulder, I believe. My son actually has a graded one in his room. That's probably my favorite one, just because I got like nice long hair. Okay, so hi Joshua. You live in Utah. Suggestions other than travel teams to get better and be ready for better competition, other than move to a state where baseball is better. Yeah, so like I'm in Massachusetts. Like baseball's not. This is not a baseball state, you know, and we have to compete against schools. I mean, teams from much better states. Like we have to go down and play teams in Georgia and Florida and Texas and California and all that. So. You know, I think the goal is always, you know, how you get there, whether it's, you know, whether it is travel ball or whether it's Legion ball or whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is because every place is different. But like you know, my dad used to always say, like, you want to play with the best players you can play with, and you want to play against the best players that you can play against. And that's the goal. And so, like, how you find that and where you go for that, I don't know. Like, for my area, it was travel ball. That's where I got it. For your area, it might not be. It might be something else. So I think that's important. It but then it's also about like doing a lot of work on your own. So like, I did a lot of work of just like my dad throwing me BP, or like me bouncing a ball off a wall and fielding it 1,000 times, or me like in my basement hitting with like a heavy bat or a light bat, or back in the day it was more heavy bats. We used to like think, you know, we used to do a lot of, before there was overload training, we would do just do overload training. I'd swing a heavy bat. Now we do more underload training. There really wasn't underload training back in the day, although we used to swing wiffle ball bats all the time as fast as we could, so we were doing it without knowing it, I guess. So, I think it's just like doing a lot of work on your own too. Like, I think that's a huge part of it. There's only so much time you can be with your team, but you can, I think about all the times that we practice by ourselves. I always think of like me and my buddy Richie Galuggi back in the day. We used to take a wheelbarrow and put it upside. We would like put it upside down. That was our strike zone. Or you could take a chair and make it your strike zone. We'd take a tennis ball and we would pitch it as fast as we could. I mean, we probably threw 200 pitches a day. And we'd throw it as hard as we could from probably like 40 feet away, and the other guy had to hit it. And you strike the guy out, you switch. And then I'd pitch to him and he pitched to me. And like, I think about those type of things, and we were just having fun, but like how many reps we were getting that you don't, if all you do is wait for your team to have a practice or to get a game where you're going to get like 4 at-bats in a day, like, whereas like when I'm facing Richie, who is one of our, me and him were 2 of the better players in our town, like I probably got 100 reps against him in a day, which are like, at the time you're not even thinking about it, but you're like, yeah, that was probably making me way better. And it was outside throwing a tennis ball and just trying to barrel a ball. Thanks, 450 Dingers. What's up, Juan? What do I think about the Padres? I haven't followed the Padres at all. I've been so busy, I haven't watched a Major League Baseball game in like a month. And some people might think that's crazy, but like, I literally, for a long time, I've been doing like waking up at 7 a.m. and doing baseball all the way through to like 10 at night. Today's the first night that I'm like kind of trying to take off, and I still got to put a lot of teams together, but I need a little bit of a break. My wife actually said to me today, she's like, because the last 3 weeks have been the busiest of the year. We've had camps, tryouts. I've been coaching our 17U team. We have all our other teams playing. I've been going crazy. And she was saying like how she feels like I haven't been around. We haven't done like a whole lot of stuff together. We haven't like gone out to eat a lot. I've just been like so busy. But like 3 weeks ago, I said to her, I was like, the next 3 weeks are going to be basically like 24. If I'm awake, I'm working. And like today's the first day where I still work today. I had to do a lot of work. I went into the facility. I had to do some stuff for Plate Crate, and then, putting teams together and emails and all that. But today's the first day I didn't go to a baseball field in a while. But over the next few days, like it'll start to slow down a little bit. And then like I really try to have like September, October, and November be like slower months for me to make up for all the work all the time I'm not home in the winter and in the spring and summer. Nick Villano, I'd say he's got good genes, and I think he's got a pretty good chance of making it. How important is it for young kids to do these travel teams? Sometimes it feels like they are money grabs. I don't know what to do. So it just depends on the team, like I hear that a lot, like uh, some travel ball teams are money grabs. I'm sure there are plenty that are money grabs, and I think there's plenty that aren't. So like when I talk about travel ball, like most of my development came from travel ball. I owe a ton of my development to that. Um, like with Antonelli baseball, like we do everything we can to develop players as much as possible. Um, like I think about our winter practices. At our winter practices, we have like I'm at all of them. My dad's at all of them. Coach Lapori's at all of them. Coach Palmer's at all of them. Like last year, and then kids had their coach. So, we have like 5 coaches at a team's practice. And we have, from, in my opinion, like 5 really good coaches. So, I'm sure there's somebody that says like our program's a money grab. Maybe they don't like me or the program or whatever. I'm sure there's somebody out there who says that, but I'm like, okay, but how many programs, how many places can you go play where you get like 5 coaches trying to help players get better every night of the week? So, I would never call travel ball a money grab, like just broadly. But I'm sure there are programs that are like that. So I think you just have to do your research and try to find a good program and one that fits you. And if you feel like it's not the right program, try another one. I mean, I don't know where you're from. Again, like if I knew where you're from, I could probably help you a little bit more. But there are good programs out there. I guess I'll just say that. Buy a Tesla robot to help out. I told Laura that we're going to have a Tesla robot one day. What happens after a walk-off win or loss? A walk-off win, you get excited. Most times when you win a game, and you go into the clubhouse, if you win, the music gets turned on, people are excited, it's loud, it's fun. When you lose, you go into the clubhouse and it's not fun. There's no music and everyone's kind of quiet. But there's so many games in baseball, like guys will get over losses pretty quickly. So, but it's normal for players to be, it's normal to be a little bit more quiet after a loss. But then guys will shower up, you'll get food, and you'll go out and eat, you'll eat dinner, go out, maybe hang out with teammates, or maybe just go back and go to bed, and got to get ready for the game tomorrow, because there's a lot of games. How early, if at all, do you start putting teams together by position instead of best overall players, even if a lot of players are? That's a great question. So here's the hard thing. Like when you have tryouts, like I had, we had tryouts over the last month. When you have 12U, like 10U, 11U, 12U, even 13U, 14U tryouts, like everybody's an infielder. So if you only took guys by position, you'd have no team because there's not many outfielders. That's the tough part. So we typically will take the best player available, and then up to what age? 17U, no doubt, we do it by position. 16U by position. 15U probably by position, but you still have a lot of kids that say like, I'm an infielder. Everyone says I'm an infielder. I'm an infielder. I'm an infielder. So I guess I would probably say this. High school age, once you get the high school age, it's usually by position. Before high school age, sometimes it's just taking best player available. And then you'll figure it out. And sometimes like you got to tell kids like, hey man, I know you've played infield your whole life, but we need you to play outfield. Sometimes players don't want to do it. There's been a lot of players where we've said like, you'd be a great outfielder. And they're like, no, I play infield. And we're like, I understand that, but you'd be a great outfielder. And we have them play outfield and they become great outfielders and they never play infield again. And most young kids, like, they're used to playing the infield because no one can hit the ball in the outfield. Like, my son, he doesn't want to play the outfield. He's a pretty good outfielder, but, like, he yelled at me so much last year for putting him in the outfield, yet he made, like, a bunch of catches. And he'd be like, well, it's boring out there. And I'd be like, well, outfield's important. I know he's only 9, but, like, we played teams that hit a lot of balls to the outfield. So, I don't know. I know everyone wants to play infield, but the outfield is important. And if you're a kid that, like, if you can play outfield and no one else wants to play outfield, well, you kind of have an advantage because people are always going to be looking for outfielders because there's just not enough kids that want to play it. What happens when you fly in the big leagues? I have a couple of videos all about the flights if you want to check them out, but flights are awesome in the big leagues. Get in the bus after a game, you go to the airport, you get off the bus and the plane's sitting like right there. You go through you go through security quickly. I mean, they have like a little wand that they just go through you quick, and you walk right up on the plane. And the planes are beautiful. It's a chartered plane. You're gonna jump on, and it's basically like having first class throughout the entire plane. It's really, really nice. Where do the White Sox go from here? That's a great question. I wish I could help you with that one, but I don't know. I'm getting tired. They need a lot of help. And I haven't watched them very much this year. I just know that they're struggling. I'm going to run a little screen to Christian McCaffrey right here. I got one player on my team, and it's McCaffrey. Oh, my God, Spencer. Like, get rid of the ball. Chris Jones just took his head off. 10U, 11U, we take athletic kids and tell them to learn one infield and one outfield position. I always loved outfield because I got the rub hits. Great. I totally agree with you. How do I manage my whole travel ball program? That is a great question. So, I got a lot of really good coaches that help, but I do run kind of everything. So I'm like controlling the travel or the practice schedules, communicating with the coaches. I talk to a lot of the parents. I set up the game schedules, tournament schedule. I mean, I do all that stuff. So it's a lot of work. And, but you got to do it. Would I rather not have to schedule umpires and all that stuff? Yes, I would like to, but it's part of owning a program. All right, let's see. We got a super chat. Life experiences of Evan. Thank you so much for the super chat, Evan. How do you feel about instructional leagues where the volunteer coaches might not be the most knowledgeable at the game, such as me? Well, I'll say this. I think that you can be a good coach. Like I've had coaches that have played at the highest of high levels, like coaches that have played in the major leagues, and they have not helped me at all. I've had coaches that did not play at high levels, and they have been extremely helpful. So I don't think you have to play at a high level to be a good coach. I've had coaches that have really not played, and when I say high level, I'm not talking about like just major leagues. Like I've had coaches that haven't really played, past, I don't know, little league sometimes. So like there's so much information out there that you can get better as a coach, even if you did not play at a high level. Like if you literally just watched our channel, studied the stuff that we talk about, and coach and just get experience, you could be a really, really good coach. It's probably easier now. It is easier now than ever before to be a good coach because there's so much information. You can watch podcasts, you can watch YouTube videos, you can, And it's not just baseball, it's anything. You can be really good at it because there's so much information and it's all free. You don't even have to buy it. So I wouldn't worry about that. Let's see. How do you feel about bad coaches that don't know what they're saying? To me, bad coaches are like, I think when coaches say something and they think that they're right, but they're not right, and they're like adamant that they're right, and they don't want to change or don't want to listen to anyone, don't want to learn anything, like those to me are like not the greatest coaches. How do I feel about them? I mean, yeah, it's never fun to have a coach that maybe we've all had coaches that aren't that good, and um, I just have always felt like the ones that are like it's my way or the highway, yet they're wrong and they're not flexible at all. They don't want to listen. They don't want to learn. Those can be tough coaches, but you also sometimes got to learn to deal with those coaches because I just had this talk a few days ago with players that you're not always going to have your favorite coach. You're going to have to learn how to play for lots of different coaches. I've played for coaches I've really not liked. I've had coaches I loved. But you can't just if you don't like a coach, it's not as easy as just being like, okay, I'm leaving the team. I'm picking a new team. I mean, I know some people might try to do that, but that's not always a possibility. And sometimes it's good to be able to learn, like, okay, I really don't like this coach, but I'm gonna figure out how to play for him because there's gonna be a time. Oh my God, Patrick Mahomes, he's loose. Hit him. There's gonna be times where you're working in a job and you've got a boss that you can't stand, and you've got to figure out how do I work for this guy or girl. So it's the same thing with baseball. Oh, I'm blitzing Mahomes. I'm blitzing him. Oh my God. My defense is terrible right now, everybody. Am I going to use AI to analyze players hitting and fielding? I'm sure I will one day. I don't currently use any AI to analyze, but I'm sure I will. The Chiefs are just driving right down the field on me right now. My defense is horrific. I gave up a touchdown. Son of a gun. Mar 15, thank you for the super chat, Mar. I've had bad diarrhea the last few days. Help. Well, Mar, that you've every time I've gone live, you've had diarrhea. So I personally think you need to probably go see a doctor. That would be my advice. All right, my defense is absolutely horrific, everybody. Have you ever hit 3 balls over the fence in a single game? So the most home runs I've hit in a pro ball game, like as a professional player, is 2 home runs in a game. I have hit 3 home runs in a game in college. So in college at Wake Forest, we did what was called the Black Gold Series. So like at the end of the fall, we would draft teams and you play a 3-game series, 3-game series. And I hit 3 home runs in 1 game my sophomore year. Probably the best game I've ever had. I mean, every ball I swung at, I was destroying. So that was the only game that I've hit 3 homers in a game. I don't think at any other level I have. I've hit 2 home runs a bunch, like in Little League and pro ball. How do you hit a 12-6 curveball? I have a lot of videos actually on how to hit off-speed pitches. And it doesn't just go for 12-6 curveballs. It really goes for any off-speed pitch. So I've also been going to bed super early because if you guys were watching the stream earlier, like we just got a dog, and the dog gets up really early in the morning, and so I've been getting up early and having to go to bed early. So this is like, I don't know what time it is right now. What time is it? Can someone tell me what time it is? Because I'm like, my eyes are closing. A lot of talk on sports radio. Oh, it's 11:15. I'm gonna have to probably go to bed at like 10 minutes because I gotta wake up early tomorrow. I don't have to technically. I have a meeting at 9 o'clock, but I know the dog is gonna be like up and trying to get me out of bed. All right, let's do a few more. A lot of sports talk radio talking about managers basically doing the bidding of analytics and what the higher ups want. Do you think there's a lot of truth to this? So I don't know. I think that managers are probably definitely given a lot more information now than ever before. How much of it is like you better do this versus like here's the information to help you make better decisions? Probably depends on the organization. I'm sure there's some organizations that are much more strict as far as like, listen, this is what you're doing tonight. I think the manager has the best feel out of anyone. They should have the best feel on. I think like analytics are important, but I also think there has to be some type of like human element to it. And, the manager he should know his ball club better than anyone. And so I think sometimes, again, I think numbers are really important. Data is really important, but there is the human element. So, and I think managers have to be able to use some of their, gut feel, intuition, whatever you want to call it, to make some of those calls. So, I'm just going down the field using McCaffrey right now. This guy's an absolute animal. That's very true, Preston. You cannot. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate you hanging out. Lots of pressure for my 9-year-old to pitch. I've been hesitant to. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna get a delay game if I don't hurry up and snap the ball. 2-minute warning. Okay. I've been hesitant to. Irreverent arm injury to young arm. What are your thoughts? Okay. So this could just be me. I just picked the wrong play. This could just be me, but I've let my son's thrown a lot, and I think the biggest thing is like we play a lot of catch. He's never had a sore arm. I've always been smart, and like his coaches have always been smart about how much he throws in a game, making sure they don't overuse him. They do have pitch counts in all the league he plays in, and they're really good about it. And I've been good about it also. So like, I've always felt like if his arm is in shape, which we keep it in shape a lot because we play a lot of catch together, then I don't mind. I think he's fine. Like I let him throw a breaking ball. I let him throw a curveball because he throws it, in my opinion, properly. I know some people are like, don't throw curveballs. Like he's been throwing curveballs to me since he was 6 years old. He's thrown like a really good one, and he throws it the right way. And I don't know. Maybe I'll have Tommy John when he's 14. You guys can all tell me I'm an idiot, but yeah, I haven't been afraid to pitch him. And I'm not saying that you should pitch him just because I said that. That's just kind of how I felt. I feel like we've done a good job of making sure his arm is in good shape, and that he's prepared to be able to pitch. Let's see. Is it weird to have grown up a Red Sox fan but not be one now? If you wanted to see one team win, would it be them? So I honestly have no feelings for any baseball team in baseball. So like when the Red Sox lose, I'm like whatever. When they win, I'm like whatever. And I grew up a huge Red Sox fan. Like I used to cry when they'd lose. So yes, it is weird. It was weird. It's not weird anymore because I just don't have a team. When you, this might not happen to everyone, but when I played professional baseball, it does become, well, first of all, you're cheering for your team. So like I wanted the Padres to win. Second of all, I'm not watching the Red Sox play because I'm playing every night, so I can't watch Red Sox. So I can't follow them. I don't know what's happening. I'm not following their players. And then that happens for a really long time, so you lose track of the team. And then you start to see that, like, you start to see more of the business side of sports where, like, you get cut or you get released or your friends get cut or released. And then, you don't, when you're a fan, you don't really see the behind the scenes stuff. Like new guy comes in, other guy leaves, and you're just kind of like, oh, whatever. But then it becomes different when it's like you or it's one of your best friends. So since I've gotten, even when I was playing, but especially since I've gotten out of baseball, it's just hard for me to cheer for a team. I just don't, I wish I had one. I tried to get back into the Red Sox and I just can't do it. Thanks, Keddy. Split finger fastball. So a split finger, I have not taught the split finger, and I don't know the appropriate age. That's a great question. I wish I knew the answer. I don't know the answer, so don't go by me on that. It's raining for 12 straight days in the Carolinas. It's a lot of rain. I like the Carolinas. I went to school there, and give us a hint on who the Spider-Man guy was on the team bus. Preston. It's a great question. That makes me happy to know that you know who Spider-Man is. If you guys don't know what he's talking about with Spider-Man, just type in, when we're done with this, type in on YouTube, like, I don't know what you would type in. Matt Antonelli Spider-Man, maybe? But we had a guy on our team that used to do what was called the Spider-Man. And there's young kids on here now, so I don't know if I can really tell it. But you can go on our videos and find out what the Spider-Man was. And I never got hit with it, but a lot of people did. Yeah, I agree, Floyd. Is that Floydian? Yeah, I agree. Did he name himself Spider-Man? No, he didn't name himself Spider-Man. He just did what he called was the Spider-Man. So it's probably late enough. There's probably not that many kids on here. So one of the pranks that he would do is when we took bus rides in AA, because it'd be really late and it'd be pitch, you'd be driving on a bus at like 3 a.m. a lot of the time. So it's pitch dark, and you'd wake up in the middle of the night and you'd have to use the restroom. And so you'd go to the restroom, and he'd do this to like young players. You'd go to the restroom, and what he would do was he would take off all of his clothes. Sounds really strange. Minor league baseball is a strange place. He would take off all his clothes, and like on like a coach bus where you can put your stuff up top, he would grab onto it and then put his feet up. And so his head would be pointed like towards the front of the bus. And he would set up in that position. So like right when you come out of the bathroom and you can't see and you're walking, that basically your head or face would hit him as you were walking out. Which back then somehow people thought was like a normal thing. I'm sure now like someone might get sued or something. But so that was, I think I made a joke in previous live chat where I asked if Will Venable was not Spider-Man. No, Will was not Spider-Man. I don't know if he ever got Spider-Man. I don't, Will's a pretty big dude. Like I wouldn't do it to him and make him mad. But again, I never got Spider-Man either because someone got Spider-Man before me. I saw it happen. So then like, I made sure that when I came out of the bathroom that it wasn't going to happen to me. That is some incentive to be called up quickly. That's 100% true. Minor leagues, like I said, is a weird place. A lot of strange things happen in the minor leagues. I don't know if it still happens that way, but when I played, a lot of strange things happened. And the minor leagues was like, the crazy part is, so I came, you come from Wake Forest and you think like the minor leagues are going to be a big step up from college ball, like at least in my mind. I hadn't gone to minor league games. I didn't know minor league players. And I went to Eugene, Oregon the first time. And like I got there, I remember I got off. So I flew into Eugene and then I got a van picked me up at the airport. It took me over to the stadium, and I remember my first thought was this can't be the minor leagues. Like I saw the stadium, it was like 100 years old, and then I went into the clubhouse and I was like, this can't be it. Like I came to the wrong place. But no, that was the minor leagues. Like the bus that we got was like the bus from, if you've seen Major League, the movie, like that was our bus. The AC broke like on our first trip. The bus broke down. It was just it's a crazy place, minor league baseball. I hope it's better now, but I really couldn't believe it. I thought, they dropped me off back in like, I don't even know what to describe. Like, it was worse than, those bathrooms were gross. Like, I refused to go in that bathroom, in those showers. Like, you can't go in there you got to wear shower shoes, like sandals, essentially. And like, I just didn't, it's just a bad place. and like, that wasn't even the worst field. There's some other fields that you go to that are even worse than that. I just picked them off, by the way. Mahomes tried to go to Kelsey, and McMorris, whoever that is, just picked them off. Yes, I was. A Hall of Famer did do that to me, and his name was Greg Maddux, actually. So I think I made a video on it and said it was Greg Maddux. So that's fine. I don't think Greg watches our channel anyway, and even if he did, he doesn't even remember who I am. So, although I did have my first ever hit against him. So, by the way, I just kicked off my first ball in Madden, and like the new kickoff rules, I'm still not used to these yet. I was just like, what the hell is going on? It's so strange to kick it off and not have anyone be able to run after the kick returner until he catches the ball. Those chrome tubs that like the hot tubs you're talking about and the cold tubs, they're still using those things. So when I was in Baltimore, San Diego too, actually, we had like the nice one, like you basically step into like almost like stepping into like a real like hot tub or jacuzzi or whatever you want to call it. We weren't using well, in spring training for the Padres, actually, we had like the metal tubs, but at Petco, we didn't. At Petco, we had like nicer ones. In Baltimore, in spring training, it was nice because they'd have a hot tub and a cold tub right next to each other. And a lot of times I'd go from hot to cold, and you just like, it's like, you know, you just step into it like you would a normal hot tub, and then you step into the cold tub. It was nice. Like the major league one. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to think that like we used to get in those and players are still getting into those. Those are crazy. I'll have to make a video on that. All right, everyone. Well, anyways, I'm glad everyone hung out tonight. We did almost an hour and a half, first time back, so that was fun. That was good. My back is killing me. I'm gonna go upstairs now and go to sleep because I'm like sitting on. I'm on the ottoman right now. I'm not even on the sofa because I got my tripod up here. Foam roll. I do need to go foam roll. Yeah, the old pull start. So I'm gonna go to bed. I got a meeting at 9 a.m. tomorrow with Blast Motion. I got a Blast Motion meeting, and then we're gonna finish picking the teams and doing all that stuff. Got a lot of work to do tomorrow, and then I'm going to the Patriots game on Thursday, playing the Eagles preseason game. So I'm gonna head down there with Maddie and my wife and Mia. Gonna watch some football. I hope I don't watch Drake May get sacked 15 times, if they even play him. I mean, what the hell? Why didn't they play? Listen, I'm just gonna say this, okay? I know no one here is probably a Patriots fan, but I'm gonna say it real quick. Why the hell didn't Drake May play at all in the first game? Like, he played like one series, I think, maybe two. Felt like one. You went Jacoby Brissett for a series. You go Drake May, and then you go Bailey Zappi. Like, we all know what Zappi can do. We've watched it. What do we need to see Zappi for? And then we went Joe Milton. Okay, like, why didn't we go Milton? What do we need to see Zappi for? Like, I don't understand that. I'm not even sure why Zappi's on the team. I guess if Jacoby goes down, then. But like, you can't carry 4 quarterbacks. So like, I don't know. I'm just like, Drake May is not going to start the season. Brissett's gonna. I don't know what's wrong with I keep doing that a bunch. Wouldn't you let May get a lot of reps? The only thing I can think of is 2 things. One, they think the offensive line is so terrible that he's going to get killed. But you're playing the Panthers, and the Panthers stink, right? So, 2, you just think he's so not ready that you don't want to put him out there to jeopardize him, to get him hurt. Or maybe you don't want to put him out there because you don't want the fans to be like, oh, man, he's our number 3 pick and he stinks. Like, I don't know what the reason is. All I know is when I go on Thursday night, like, May better play because I'm going to the game. I want to watch him play. I want to watch him and I want to watch Joe Milton. That's what I want. Anyways, there's my thoughts. But let's be honest. Like, what are we really going for? We want to watch Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. I don't know if they're all going to be playing, but like, we're sitting right behind the Eagles bench. So we're going to try to get some autographs. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyways, I am a huge Celtics fan, yes. Big Celtics fan, big Patriots fan. It's hard to be a Patriots fan now. But you know what? I had like 20 years of being a Patriots fan and watching Brady just dominate the league. So that's fine. All good things do come to an end. But I'm a huge Celtics fan, huge Patriots fan. Those are my 2 teams. But just so you guys know, I'm fading fast. I put a friendly wager on the Eagles to win the Super Bowl this year. And I know people might say, not going to happen. Like, what are you, crazy, Matt? I could be totally crazy. But I like the odds. And they've got talent. And, yeah. That's it. Anyways. We will see everyone. I don't know when. We'll do another one of these soon. But that was fun. Hopefully it helped you out. And that's all I got. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for hanging out.